Welcome to It Takes Two. I am Christopher. We are here to talk about the most recent episode of 1,000 Pound Sisters of Season 5, Episode 7. Now, usually when you tune into this show, you see two of us. You see me and my wife, but my wife could not record with us today. She is recovering from surgery. Not emergency surgery, but planned surgery. So in the comments below, write down, get well, Blair, hurry up and come back. So usually the dynamic that you see between us two is she tells us about the episode, and then I give my little commentary here and there, but I gotta do both. So, y'all ready? Let's go. So Amy feels like her sister ganged up on her at the gym, right? So Big Brother Chris stopped by her house to try to smooth things over. He says that we are all worried about Amy. All of this is just happening a week from family vacation, so he just want to make sure nobody is on eggshells during the vacation. Now, we all have been there to where there is a vacation coming up, and we just want to make sure that, hey, this one person don't spoil the vacation. Right, Blair Bear? All right. We have all been there. That's why I say Amy should just stay home. If I got to walk on eggshells or if I got to stop by your house a week before to make sure, hey, are we going to be good next week when we go on vacation? I think that person should stay home, but I digress. Let's move on. Amy and Tammy go to this nail salon. About 3 years ago, Tammy couldn't go up these stairs. They showed this flashback to where they go to this nail salon and she see these stairs and she couldn't go up because of her weight. So, like, in the flashback, the lady in the salon said that if you lose the weight and climb these stairs, that her pedicure will be on the house. She will pay for it. So now that we come back in present time, Tammy goes up the stairs. It's a big accomplishment. So she gets a pedicure on the house. So now Amy and Tammy sitting in the chair and things like that. And Amy's feet is dirty as hell. I don't know why y'all feel comfortable going to these nail salons without washing your feet. Listen here, we can't do nothing about fungus. We can't do nothing about, if you got the blisters or things, or just like if your feet is ashy, not ashy, but you know how it's like hard on the heel and things like that. But you can at least put soap and water on that toe, on that foot to make sure that your feet is clean. That I feel like that was not professional. They laughed about it, but it is what it is. So Tammy is, she is scared to fly and things like that. They started talking about that. And so during this whole procedure while they talking and things like that, they make it funny, talk about Tammy scared to fly. But let's move on to the next scene. In the next scene, Caleb sends a package to Tammy, right? Remember Caleb? R.I.P. Caleb, right? She FaceTimes Caleb, and he talks about how much he misses her. He always talking about, hey, babe, I miss you, babe. I can't wait to see you, babe. I'm sad, babe. So he sent her a care package. How nice. But in the care package, it was like body wash, soap. And Tammy's like, do I stink? Like, do I smell? Right, Blair Bear? Okay, right? She's like, okay, I like this is nice, but it was just a lot of soap. And then they got down to serious conversation. She was like, hey, have you weighed yourself recently? He was like, no. But yet he talks about how much he misses her. And how much, he wants to be with her. And he's sad about, I know in the last episode, he talks about, like, this was supposed to be, like, I was supposed to go on this family trip. And even Tammy said, like, this is supposed to be, like, something like a honeymoon for me and Caleb. But Caleb ain't serious about losing weight. He don't even want to weigh himself. So, Tammy, she's trying to be nice. She's like, yeah, that scale could be the devil and things like that. But, Caleb just there keep making excuses. We are seeing the behind the scenes, what it looks like Caleb demise, apparently. And it's kind of hard to watch knowing that the end of the story. But one thing I can always criticize Caleb about is like, he be bullishing his way throughout his weight loss, at least so far. So she asked him, have he weighed himself recently? He says no. And then like he talks about how he's going to work hard to get the surgery. How are you going to do that if you ain't weighing yourself, brother? Because the first thing the doctor going to do is less weigh. And you're not even weighing yourself. So basically, you going to be surprised with the doctor? I don't believe Caleb, right? So next, the family goes to get a spray tan, and they went swimsuit shopping. Amy starts making excuses on why she can't focus on her health. And this is what I wanted to talk about right here for a second, right? You are seeing, of course, this show is supposed to be about, the dynamic between the sisters of Amy and Tammy, as you see them on the poster and things like that. But also it talks about mainly about their weight loss. So you could kind of attribute this to like my 600-pound life and things like that. whenever something is going on, they always make excuse of why they can't like eat healthy and be healthy, but yet they can do everything else. One thing that they kept alluding about Amy is that, hey, you can stay up, you can do all these things, but when it comes to her weight loss, she's like, look, man, I got divorced. Michael, I got to take care of these kids. So, like, I'm just putting that on the back burner. And once I get that done, then I can focus on my health. We realize that never happens. It never goes down that way. I think Amy is bullishing like Caleb, but I digress. So, Tammy's talked about like this will be her first flight. I did not know that Chris's wife, Brittany, I think her name is, this is her first flight too, right? So Amy is getting a ride. Amy is getting a ride though. She's not getting on the plane. Amy is getting a ride to Florida with her nephew, which is Amanda's son, and the two boys. Now, that's why I say Amy should have stayed home. If you're not going to fly, Amy actually been on a plane, but she said never again. Now, here's the thing. I have family in the deep south, deep south, right? The countryside. And there are some people that have never been on a plane as full adults and things like that. So I could kind of understand people who never been on a plane in the sense of leaving that countryside or leaving that city. But like, Tammy, I give her a pass. She was fat. She couldn't fit in the seat. I understand that. She couldn't even go up a ramp or stairs. But Amy, her reason of not living life to its full capacity, it kind of like bothers me. I'm like, why are you using like this experience to be like, you know what? I am going to have my nephew drive me all the way to Florida from Kentucky, wherever I'm at. It's going to be a 9 to 10 hour ride with two toddlers in the back. Crazy, right? So Tammy is scared to get on the plane. She's shaking. But the good thing about it is, good news, she only needed one seat even though she paid for two. Now, I think that's what I'm going to start doing, right? Because they are making these airplane seats smaller and smaller, and I'm tall, right? And I'm like, if I can just stretch out across two seats, yes, I'm going to disturb the person that's a seat away from me. But if I can stretch out, get two seats. Tammy had two seats, rather. And she only needed one. And she was like, hopefully the seatbelt fit. The seatbelt fit. So congratulations. She passed one thing. That's one major accomplishment she did. So as the plane starts to take off, Tammy puts her head down because she's scared and things like that. Nobody told her so much. No one gave her any insight on the airplane experience itself. They just basically told her that the plane goes in the sky, it flies, and then it lands. They ain't telling nothing about how it takes off. They ain't telling nothing about turbulence. So when there's turbulence, she's looking around. Right, baby? She's looking around, and she's like, whoa, we about to die, right? So, but at the end of the day, she really enjoyed the plane ride to the point where she was actually sad when it ended because she was like, it was just a rush. It was good. It was amazing, and things of that nature. Let's move on. So they flash back to Amy in the car with her nephew and her two children. So of course, like I think they had like 9 hours. Like I think they was in the car for 4 hours already, and that they had like potentially 9 hours left and things like that. As you would see throughout the episode, it seemed like they was not getting closer to their destination at all. It just seemed like, okay, if y'all drove for 6 hours, y'all should only be like 3 hours left. They were like, no, we like 7 hours left. I'm like, I don't know if y'all stopping. I don't know if my man went the wrong way. It just is what it is. So, Tammy and the crew that she's with arrive at the house that they're staying in, but there's a problem. There's these big steps in the front, right? Tammy, even though Tammy is happy about her progression, even though Tammy is happy that she lost this weight and things of that nature, she is still taking precaution because she's like, if I fall, I'm going to hurt myself. I'm not, even though I push myself on the plane, I push myself to do all these other things, walk up the ramp episodes ago, walk up the stairs in the nail salon. These steps are big to Tammy. She's like, I need the other stool step to help me with this step. And Chris is like, hey, look, this step is no different than the other step. And she's like, yeah, just bring it out because I'm still a risk. And that just shows that something that me and Blair was talking about a couple episodes ago, even though all the weight that Tammy lost, she's still at a risk. She still's not at her goal of being healthy and still being fully functional, and things like that. So I'm kind of happy that back in the day, the difference between her not doing something, it was when she was at her biggest and she just seemed grumpy and mean as they show flashbacks with her getting in the car and her pushing the van and the doors closing slowly and things like that. It just seemed like she was just a pain to be with. This one is different. Even though she's saying, I can't do this, we have evidence of her trying other things. I don't know if you noticed, but when they was riding in the white van to the house that they was in, Tammy was sitting in the front and things like that. Things that we are good at seeing her progression compared to her sitting on the floor of the backseat of the van. So I actually like the fact that Tammy's like, hey, I kind of know my limits. I need the extra step. So she was hesitant, but she finally walks up the stairs and things like that. Tammy is happy to be there with her family as she's in the house. They see in the house, they're like, oh my goodness, white is too clean for us. I agree, Chris. Tammy is happy to be there with her family, but she's like, I miss my Caleb. Caleb is supposed to be here. Caleb is not supposed to be there. I'm gonna be real with you, Tammy. Caleb is not supposed to be there because he don't weigh himself. He don't lose weight. And even then, he may not have been able to travel and things like that, because I think even in the earlier episodes, they was talking about how if he lose the weight, he may still have the trach. So like he's not as healthy as you, Tammy, because he don't want to be. He was in the same starting position as you, and not only have you passed him, you overlapped him, and you took it upon yourself to marry this guy. And I'm like, you shouldn't have married this guy because he's trying to hold you back. So even when you're enjoying yourself and things like that, I feel like you shouldn't be thinking about Caleb because Caleb is not thinking about Caleb at all, right? So we fast forward to the next day, and this is when everybody's finally there. Amy, her nephew, and the kids, they arrived later that previous night. So they let her sleep in, right? Here, you kind of feel a turn against Amy. I don't know if y'all noticed it. At first, everybody was being patty cake with Amy, but now they kind of feel like they are, what's the word? They are alluding that Amy is practicing some bad parenting tendencies, right? Amanda begins to talk about, hey, you know, you need to go to bed at a decent hour and things like that. And everybody, listen, this must be a major thing. She must be on social media all night and things like that, because that's all they talk about. And they basically was like, hey, we let her sleep in. I know she can't use the excuse of that she didn't get no sleep, she didn't get no rest, because we literally took the boys this morning and we took care of everything. So, like, Amy should have no excuse. But keep that in mind about her parenting skills, and keep Amanda in mind as well, right? So, Amy is tired, and her sons are tired. Of course they're tired because they just rode in a car for over 10 hours. And they about to get back in the car to head to the beach and things like that. So she begins to try to strap her sons in the seat and things of that nature. And in my opinion, based on what we seen on the episode, she said the sons was having a hard time. Like, they was basically crying and being difficult being in the car seat. I didn't see them being difficult in the car seat. I saw them just basically being kids, just making noises. What did you see, Blair Bear? I agree, right? I think she was just tired, and the boys was tired too, but it's just weird, right? So as the boys begin to, quote unquote, act like 2-year-olds, I guess, I don't know, right? Amy begins to have a breakdown. Right. And I'm like, why is she crying? She begins to cry and talk about how she don't want to go nowhere. And then that's when Amanda is starting to get tired of Amy. Right. And she basically talk about, listen here, every time these boys cry, you crying. Right. But here's the thing about it. I have a theory. Are you ready to listen to my theory? I said, are y'all ready to listen to my theory? I think Amanda was already mad at Amy for having her son drive Amy and the boys down to Florida. Because Amanda said that she don't like flying, but Amanda got on that plane. But the only reason why her nephew drove is because Amy didn't want to get on the plane. So I think Amanda was already kind of disturbed at Amy, and now she's seeing Amy in a different light of like, hey, we are basically doing everything for you. We are taking the burden off of you. Why are you having these major breakdowns to where you don't want to go home? What's wrong with you? That's just my theory. Write down y'all theory in the comments, right? So we after Amy's having her breakdown, Amanda's like, listen here, the boys just tired. The boys are just tired and things like that. So once they get in the car, they go to sleep and things of that nature. Like, they are going to be good. As soon as they got in the car and started going to sleep, they went to sleep and everything was good. So now we kind of at near the beach, and Chris brings this wheelchair with these monster truck wheels. And Tammy's having a hard time getting in the wheelchair. Chris is like, what's going on with you? She's like, I can't get my leg over the thing. I don't know where her sister was at this time, because I was like, y'all clearly see that she needs help getting her leg over. It's not that something's wrong with the wheelchair. She just couldn't get her leg over. Eventually, they help her get her leg over and things like that. She's like, only thing that's on Tammy's mind every time she's doing these things, wheelchair, walking upstairs, is that she don't want to be a fall risk. She don't want to injure herself, fall on the ground, because she won't be able to get up. And I understand. I think we should listen more to Tammy, because I'm like, if you lose over 100 pounds and you're still making the strides to lose more weight, then I think we should listen to you and your limits, right? So they finally make it to the beach. Tammy sees the beach in person for the first time, and she said it's beautiful to see it in person. She sees it on TV and stuff like that. She said people talk about the beach, but to actually see it in person, she said it's beautiful. Kind of wild to put into words of how crazy that sounds, in the sense of, like, really her weight really restricted her of seeing a beach or being able to go to the beach. But I'm happy for her, right? So Chris had on these tight booty shorts with his white face all over the shorts. Everybody laughed and things like that. A good joke. He don't want to take off his shirt because he said he got excess skin. He don't really like his body at the moment, but he said when he gets himself together, he's gonna wear a thong and he gonna have his white face in the front. I feel you, brother. Right? So people begins to stare at the family. Amy says, like, maybe they never saw fat people before the hippos arrived. My wife, while we was watching this episode together, she was like, maybe it was the fact that, people on the beach, but there's cameras there. And I'm like, I think I go with that. I think people were staring because it's like, who are these people? You know what I mean? Or maybe they recognize you. Maybe they was fans that they didn't recognize. Trust me, seeing fat people on the beach is not something that is out of the norm. You're going to see people who love their bodies more than we love their bodies on the beach all the time, right? So, of course, Tammy decides to hang back while everybody goes to play in the water, because she's like, I don't want to fall in the water. I'm a fall risk, and things like that. So after they spend time at the beach, the family is going to the seafood restaurant, right? This is the scene of the night, at least for me, guys, right? I really want to know your opinion about this. Amy boys, the boys are fussy, and they seem like they're tired based on how I was perceiving it. They've been at the beach all day playing in the sand, and now they have to sit down. They just seem tired. They probably didn't get a full rest from being in the car the day before. So as the boys begin to cry, Amy begins to cry at the table. Why? I don't know. I don't know why she's crying and things like that. So she's not even consoling the boys so much. She's crying with the boys, right? Amanda grabs one of the boys, and she begins to say, I'm not even supposed to be basically picking up anything after my surgery, but somebody has to do something. So she picks up one of them, and she walks him outside, and she picks him up, and she begins to rock him quiet. And at that moment, I come to my analysis, even the title of this episode. Amy is a bad parent. Now here's the thing that is beautiful about doing a show solo dolo without my wife sometimes. My wife is not here to stop me and give me my boundary and limits so I can kind of say what I want. She's looking at me, but she can't do nothing because, it is what it is. Amy is a bad parent. It was at this moment I could confidently say Amy is a bad parent. It is not about the divorce. It's not about Michael, because my whole thing is, if you was doing everything anyway while with Michael, why is it that now that, quote unquote, nothing changed in the sense of help, but actually you got a surplus of help because you got your brothers and sisters there, you can't even get yourself together to stand up and rock your kid to quietness? Somebody else who's not supposed to be picking up the kid, their aunt got to come and do what you're supposed to do to a baby. We are never going to criticize babies for acting like babies, but we will criticize adults for acting like babies. Amy, I can confidently say you are a bad parent, or you showing the characteristics of a bad parent. You will not sue me, okay? So like she's crying at the table. We don't know. Amanda grabs one of the boys. I don't know which one it was, Gabe, or if it was the other one. Who knows, right? She starts rocking him quiet. Amy begins to say that she's so stressed out to where she's about to have a panic attack. So Chris starts now when you get Chris start talking to you, he starts talking sternly. He's not yelling at her, but he's talking sternly as a authority figure in her life, and basically telling her, listen here, get your ish together. You ain't no ball bag, so why you balling? And things like that. You got to be a stronghold for your kids and things like that. So he's kind of putting her in her place of, listen here, I was with you when we went to divorce court. I was with you before this eggshell. I thought we had a conversation before the vacation about, are you good? Everything straight? I was nice. I was walking on eggshells talking with you. But now I'm starting to see characteristics of you not having your rhythm. That's one thing Chris said. He said she need to get her rhythm, because I really don't understand why she's breaking down. To this point, it's not about Michael. In my opinion, it's not about Michael. I think I lean more towards the Blair opinion in a couple episodes ago, to where she's like she might need to get medicated and get some antidepressants or something like that to get her to zero, because she is so behind the ball, and it's actually showing the worst side, in my opinion, of Amy. The worst side of her, to me, is not her talking and thinking and missing Michael. The worst side is she don't seem like a capable parent, right? Anyway, right? So Amy says she's so stressed to where she about to have a panic attack. Chris tells her she need to get her ish together. Amanda comes back from outside. She comes back to the table and she said, give me my keys. I'm leaving. I'm like, wait a minute now. Why are you leaving? And that's where Chris kind of alludes to kind of how I feel too. I don't think Amanda is feeling Amy. And I think she felt that way from the beginning of what I said previously, of making her son drive all the way down. Mind you, Amanda wasn't in that car with her son, right? Making her son drive all the way down. And now you're talking about you having these breakdowns to where you want to go home. Well, no, you ain't going to make my son drive you back 13, 14, 28 hours back home because you having a breakdown because your kid's crying. What's wrong with you, right? That's how I'm feeling, right? Tell me how y'all feel about that. Blair Bear, how do you feel about that? You've been quiet this whole episode. Okay, I feel you, right? So Amanda said, give me my keys, I'm leaving. And Amy says, well, if she's leaving, I think I should leave too, because, now she want to be the parent and things like that. So everyone at the table is basically, I don't want to say attacking Amy, but they are sternly talking. They basically saying, like, what's wrong with you, basically? Because I think we're at the point to where we're done with the excuses about the divorce. You're getting a divorce, and it's not like you're getting a divorce from a good guy. You're getting a divorce from a scumbag. But sometimes birds of a feather, come on, Blair Bear, flocks together, right? So I'm like, hold on. Michael was leaving you with the kids, not taking care of the kids. You are with the kids and you're kind of not taking care of the kids. Who do I supposed to believe is the good parent between y'all two? Blair ain't here to stop me, so I'm gonna give my theories. Who do I supposed to believe that, hey, there's a capable adult to take care of these kids? And I'm kind of scared of how y'all putting this on TV, because I'm like, wait a minute, nobody's called CP? Because I'm like, this woman is not capable of taking care of her kids. There's one thing about being sad about what you're going through, but Amy is having full breakdown. She's like, I'm ready to go to Kentucky. Right? So at the end of the episode, they basically end the episode with them getting in the car and them heading back to the house. In the next episode, in the preview, it seemed like everybody confronts her about, hey, you are not being a good parent in this moment. And now it seemed like they push her to her breaking point till now she want to fight everybody. Listen here, when the truth hurts, man, a hit dog holler, okay? Hit that dog and watch it holler. You feel what I'm saying? So tell me in the comments, what do you think about this episode? Do you think I went too far by saying that another woman is a bad parent? Listen here, I feel like her siblings are saying it, but they saying it without saying it. Saying things like she need to be a stronghold for those kids. Come on now. Kids at this age, they are very easy and they are very They can pick up on things. They can pick up on vibes and your energy and things like that. And safety. Kids is very good with safety, knowing who to be safe with. I don't know if the kids feel safe with Amy. I don't think Amy feels safe with Amy. Because all we've seen throughout this episode is Amy sit on the floor in the gym, to the point where her sister Amanda, see, it started last episode. Y'all got to have that third eye open. Amanda was like, hey, don't you want to sit in the chair? Amanda been tired of Amy, because it's to the point to where, okay, listen, you're going through a divorce with a scumbag. Get over it, right? And you have kids. You don't even want to live for your kids. And Chris is now getting tired of her. He basically telling her, listen here, your bedtime is 9. When they sleep, you sleep. He is. Everybody's getting tired. Tammy is like, look here, I'm not gonna say anything, because so many times I was the villain and people was yelling at me. It just seemed kind of crazy for me to say something now. I agree, Tammy. Don't say anything. Eventually, we gonna get Brittany yelling at him. If Brittany starts yelling at Amy, you know Amy's wrong. And Brittany is Chris' wife. She don't say anything. Every now and then you see a smile and all that stuff. She don't say anything. Then we gonna see Brittany yelling at Amy. Tell me in the comments below if you think Amy is showing the characteristics of a bad parent in this episode and so far. Also in the comments, write down Get Well Blair and let me know how good I did. This is the first episode I did by myself. It's kind of weird talking to myself by myself because Blair Bear has took she's protesting. She don't want to talk and help, but she want to be in the camera. Subscribe, like, comment, share, all the above. Y'all be good.